A democracy once condemned a philosopher. A church silenced a scientist. A regime rewrote science. This is what happens when knowledge becomes dangerous. Athens had just lost a devastating war. Its democracy was fragile, its pride wounded. In fear, people search for certainty, and when they cannot find it, they blame uncertainty.
What is justice?
It is obeying the law.
And if the law is unjust? What troubles your mind, young one?
I am not certain, Socrates.
Uncertainty is the beginning of wisdom.
He was accused of corrupting the youth, of disrespecting the gods. But in uncertain times, even simple questions feel dangerous. Questions can sound like doubt, and doubt can feel like an attack.
My friends, do not weep. A good man has nothing to fear in death. The soul is eternal.
Knowledge becomes dangerous when power feels fragile. The trial lasted one day. There were no lawyers. Socrates defended himself.
I will not beg you with tears. I will not parade my children before you.
He was 70 years old. He feared dishonor more than death. In Plato's Apology, Socrates says that an examined life is not worth living. The jury voted. He lost by a narrow margin. Plato suggests only a small difference, perhaps 30 votes. After conviction, he could propose his own punishment.
For my service to Athens, I deserve free meals.
His friends bribed the guard. He could escape. As mentioned in Plato's Crito, he believed laws mattered even when flawed. A democracy proud, wounded, uncertain through silence over scrutiny. In the 399th of BCE, Athens condemned its questioner, not for violence, not for treason, but for asking why. When pride is fragile, even questions feel like threats, and fear of embarrassment can overpower freedom.
Athens believed it was protecting stability, but insecurity often disguises itself as justice.
Did it happen again?
Yes.
Eight centuries after Socrates, another teacher stood at the center of a divided city. She asked questions, but her danger was different. Hypatia was born into knowledge. She was the daughter of a mathematician. She became a philosopher, astronomer, and teacher.
Observe the harmony of these forms. The circle's perfection reflects the divine order. Meditate on this truth.
As historian Edward Watts explains in Hypatia, she was one of the most admired intellectuals of her time.
Truth does not belong to one group. It belongs to those who seek it.
Even if leaders disagree?
Especially then.
Alexandria was no longer the pagan city of philosophers. Christianity had become the official religion of the Roman Empire.
So old beliefs were fading.
Yes, and power was shifting. Two men competed for control of the city. Cyril, the bishop of Alexandria, and Orestes, the Roman governor. They were enemies of each other. Hypatia advised Orestes. She was respected by elites. rumors began spreading that she was preventing reconciliation. In unstable societies, intellectual independence can be misread as political interference. In March 415, a group of radical monks and followers intercepted her carriage. They needed a symbol. She was killed. Inside a church, her body burned.
She didn't write against anyone.
No, because she represented independence. Socrates embarrassed leaders. Hypatia stood between rival powers. In both cases, knowledge intersected with instability. Two centuries later, another observer would look at the sky and disturb the earth. There are moments in history when a telescope becomes more dangerous than a sword.
But why would anyone be afraid of someone looking at stars?
Because sometimes, what you see changes who is at the center of the universe. In 1610, Galileo pointed his telescope toward Jupiter and saw moons orbiting something that was not Earth.
Jupiter.
The universe had always placed Earth at its center, and if Earth was not central, what else was wrong?
Your observations contradict scripture. I observe what is there.
In his book Dialogue Concerning the Two Chief World Systems, Galileo wrote arguments as conversations. He believed reason would persuade.
Do you recant? I recant.
Instead, in 1633, he stood before the Roman Inquisition.
So, truth lost.
No, it bent, and bending is how it survives. In 1992, the Vatican formally acknowledged error. It took 359 years. The Earth still moves. It always did. There was a time when copying one book took a year, and one invention made ideas impossible to gauge.
If books were so rare, who decided what people were allowed to read?
Those who could afford ink, and those who controlled permission. In Mainz, Germany, a goldsmith named Johannes Gutenberg experimented with metal. Not for jewelry, but for letters.
If every letter can move, every idea can move.
In 1455, the Gutenberg Bible emerged, not handwritten, but multiplied. Within decades, presses spread across Europe. Books fell in price. Literacy rose. In 1517, a monk named Martin Luther nailed 95 arguments to a church door.
If truth cannot be questioned, it is not truth.
The printing press copied his words thousands of times. Reformation followed. It spread interpretation. And interpretation reshapes power. Today, a message travels the world in seconds, but the first time ideas outran authority was ink on paper. You cannot burn every copy, not once ideas learn to print themselves. Once, kings wrote laws, then a pamphlet challenged a crown. Not alone, but 1,000 copies and voices behind them could. Taxes, hunger, injustice, and centuries of silence. July 14th. The Bastille fell, not because it was strong, but because it symbolized oppression. The motto became a mantra. Words fueled the people. Revolution can consume its own. By 1793, the guillotine ruled Paris. Yes, but fear and anger twist freedom into judgment. Socrates questioned. Hypatia stood for independence. Galileo observed. The revolution showed what happens when knowledge inspires the many. Today, protests can spread in seconds, movements form online. The tools change, but the pattern persists. The pen, the telescope, the pamphlet, all ripple through time, and history watches. In the late 18th century, machines began to outpace human hands, faster than muscle, faster than memory, and soon, ideas moved swifter than empires, slipping past borders, outrunning authority, beyond the reach of control. Some prospered fortunes rising with the smoke. Others were trapped in soot, thunderous mills, and endless hours. Progress for a few. Confinement for many. By the 20th century, knowledge itself became a weapon. World wars tested how fast information and technology could destroy. Radar, code-breaking chemistry. Science brought power and danger. Sometimes it saved lives. Sometimes it destroyed them. It all depends on intent. The atomic age began in 1945. One secret could snuff out millions of lives in an instant. Entire nations trembled, gripped by a fear they could not control.
This circuit layout is the key. Yes, but we need to verify the tolerances. The simulations confirm. Good. Let's proceed.
Then knowledge became instant. Computers, networks, satellites. The world could share everything in seconds. Anyone can see it, anyone can act on it. Knowledge multiplied, amplified, unstoppable. Socrates questioned authority. Hypatia embodied independence. Galileo observed the skies. The French spread ideas to the many. Industrial and digital revolutions made knowledge omnipresent, unstoppable and risky. Today, a single person can share truth or misinformation worldwide. Knowledge no longer waits. We wait. The question is no longer who holds knowledge, but who acts wisely with it. Knowledge once carved in stone, then written on scrolls. By 1945, one secret could end millions. Today, networks make it instant. Anyone can see, anyone act. Yet understanding lags. Wisdom, that still remains human. Knowledge is leaving Earth. Satellites, probes, telescopes. We learn from planets, stars, distant galaxies. Bigger than Galileo ever imagined. Bigger than any one person could imagine. Artificial intelligence can process data, simulate futures, even write. It is a partner. or a challenge, it won't replace us, but it tests who we are, our curiosity, our responsibility, our ethics. From Socrates to Hypatia, Galileo to the French Revolution, Gutenberg to the digital age. The pattern is clear. Knowledge grows, authority reacts, society transforms, and consequences are magnified. Every action, every insight, every broadcast can ripple across the world. We are stewards of knowledge, not just its recipients. We act wisely, ask questions, and carry history's lessons with us. The question is no longer what we can know, but what we choose to do with it.